Y News with Angelo Castro III, William Theo, and Darlene Basingan.
ASEAN spirit soar above all boundaries and boundaries. ASEAN spirit soar to greater heights and victories.
Good evening. President Rodrigo Duterte introduces regional and international security as the highlight of the 31st ASEAN Summit. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
In his speech at the opening ceremony of the 31st ASEAN Summit, President Rodrigo Duterte thanked all international partners who assisted in resolving the Marawi crisis, including the relief efforts extended for the affected residents.
Our ASEAN brothers provided support by sending relief items for the benefit of the internally displaced persons, while others provided valuable assistance and bolstered our military campaign.
Given this premise, the President stressed that the highlight of the two-day ASEAN Summit will definitely focus on regional and international security, specifically to craft measures to counter security threats such as terrorism, extremism, piracy, and illegal drugs. This is also what the President emphasized in his statement as chair of the ASEAN Summit plenary session.
It is also an opportunity for us to discuss the kind and cooperation needed to respond to the rapid regional and global developments and threats posed by non-traditional security issues in the peace and stability and prosperity of our regions.
Meanwhile, the ASEAN will also push for the promotion and protection of the rights of the migrant workers, on which the ASEAN leaders will sign a landmark document tomorrow.
I am pleased to announce that ASEAN member states have come to an agreement on the ASEAN Consensus on the protection and promotion of rights of migrant workers. I will be joining other ASEAN leaders tomorrow in signing this landmark document that would strengthen social protection, access to justice, humane and fair treatment, and access to health services for our people.
Aside from these issues, other concerns are expected to be discussed in the ASEAN Summit and other related meetings, such as the welfare of the ASEAN youth, poverty, food security, coastal and marine protection. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
A small program for micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, was launched during the sidelines of the Association for Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN Summit. Here's why from Ray Palayo.
The world economy is 85% comprised of micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, or small businesses. This is one of the points that President Rodrigo Duterte emphasized in his speech in the opening of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN Mentorship for Entrepreneurs Network yesterday.
Talagang bubuhos ako ng capital because we found out in our meetings with AP that the basic unit of the economy has always been moved by the MSMEs.
During the event, 150 pioneer mentors were presented. They will be in charge of training individuals in ASEAN member states seeking to start their own businesses. Part of the ASEAN Business Investment Summit, or ABIS, is the founding of a Mentors Academy, which would provide certificates to its graduates.
It is a program that has that has leveled up the individual country programs of mentorship, where sharing of knowledge and sharing of mentors themselves, the personalities who are doing this mentorship, will be done in a more systematic way.
During the Business and Investment Summit, delegates also discussed the Build Infrastructure Development Program of the Philippines and the contribution of women in the development of country's human capital. On the 14th of November, former President and now Pampanga Congresswoman Gloria Macapagal Arroyo is the guest of honor in the ASEAN-related event where she is expected to share her perspective for regional bloc in the next 50 years. Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Pasay City.
President Rodrigo Duterte has once again expressed support for small and medium enterprises, or SMEs, during today's ASEAN Business Advisory Council meeting. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
The chief executive officers and presidents of some huge Southeast Asian companies attended the meeting with Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, leaders today. The business leaders are from the industries part of the ASEAN Business Advisory Council, or ABAC. In the said meeting, ABAC members gives recommendations to ASEAN leaders in terms of how to strengthen their sector. One of these suggestions is on how to further intensify ASEAN leaders' support to small and medium enterprises, or SMEs.
And with the efforts that the private sector and the public sector will do in really fighting poverty, bringing about and using mentorship, money and market.
President Rodrigo Duterte has once again expressed his support to small business as the ASEAN chairman. The Philippine president says providing more support to SMEs would help remove business monopolies and would revive competition in various industries.
MSMEs are considered game changers of the economy as they can offer more options in the market, and their presence also eliminates monopoly of trade and fosters healthy competition in the industry.
The Business Advisory Council also discussed the importance of digital economy to ordinary businessmen in the ASEAN region. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
The ASEAN Security Task Force gives a perfect grade to the Philippine National Police for providing tight security in the first day of the ASEAN Summit. Leia Ilagan tells us why.
There had been no problems encountered in the travels of the heads of state from Clark in Pampanga to their billet today. In a statement of Interior and Local Government Officer in Charge Catalino Coy, read by ASEAN Security Task Force Operation Officers, Police Chief Superintendent Noel Baraceros, the world leaders safely arrived in the country without experiencing any untoward incidents. With this, the ASEAN Security Task Force gives the Philippine National Police, or PNP, a perfect grade of 10 for providing tight security in the world leaders and ASEAN delegates.
We are doing well. Nakita nyo naman walang disruption sa activities ng ating mga leaders, and everything including yung, for example, meron na tayong leader, nagpunta siya dun sa Erie kasi gusto nilang i-visit. And even yung pagbalik nila dito, yung mga tours, wala pa naman pong na-cancel. So everything is doing fine. I think even the traffic, I think it's 10-0. Yes. On a rate of 1 to 10.
However, Baraceros called on the personnel of the PNP to stop using their mobile phones while on duty and not to neglect their tasks until the ASEAN Summit concludes.
I call on all our troopers, especially those on the ground, to not let their guards down and be alert for any eventualities.
The PNP and the DILG also thanked the public for the patience and for cooperating with the security protocols being implemented, like lockdowns of several roads.
We thank you for your patience and cooperation as we implement road lockdowns and traffic management schemes as we conduct ASEAN activities.
The PNP also urged demonstrators to conduct their protests in a proper way to avoid injuries. Meanwhile, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority says the southbound lane was open to motorists since 12 in the afternoon, while the ASEAN lane on the EDSA northbound will remain closed to traffic.
Based on this order ng aming committee chairman, Catalino Coy, he ordered yung removal na ng ating plastic barriers or ASEAN lane doon sa southbound.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump is pushing for stronger economic ties between the United States and the ASEAN member states. Here's why from Nel Mariboho.
The Association of Southeast Asian Nations leaders met with U.S. President Donald Trump this afternoon. As chairman in this year's ASEAN Summit, President Rodrigo Duterte affirms the continuing efforts of strengthening the relationship between the ASEAN and the United States, which Trump also echoed in his statement.
It is our shared interest to keep our ASEAN-US engagement close and to ensure that our strategic partnership delivers the best results for our peoples.
I speak to you on behalf of 350 million Americans with a message of friendship and partnership. I'm here to advance peace, to promote security, and to work with you to achieve a truly free and open Indo-Pacific.
Aside from his earlier statement on maintaining a strong ties with the Philippines, Trump also pushes for an even stronger economic relationship with the ASEAN.
Today we celebrate your incredible success, and we also seek economic partnerships on the basis of fairness and reciprocity.
Presidential spokesman Harry Roque reports that meeting also touched on the issues in the West Philippine Sea and Korean Peninsula, which ASEAN seeks to resolve in a peaceful manner. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
The ASEAN also holds summit with China in which the code of conduct in the West Philippine Sea is expected to be discussed. Here's why from Ray Palayo.
The opening statements of President Rodrigo Duterte and Chinese Premier Li Keqiang have been brief, and the closed-door ASEAN-China summit immediately commenced. This is the 20th summit between the ASEAN and China, with all the members of the ASEAN present. President Duterte says this is another opportunity for the ASEAN and China to determine the direction of their partnership is going. Duterte adds that he is hoping for a productive meeting which will benefit all the countries in the region.
As we reach another milestone in 2018, which is the 15th anniversary of the elevation of the ASEAN-China Dialogue Partnership into a strategic partnership.
Chinese Premier Li Keqiang told the ASEAN leaders that China will remain good neighbors and a priority on its diplomacy.
中国和东盟的友好关系是各国的共识，我们也最早同东国建立了战略伙伴关系，最早同东盟启动了自贸区的谈判进程。中国始终把东盟作为周边外交的优先方向，坚持与东盟做安危与共、同舟共济的好邻居。
Among the topics expected to be taken up in the ASEAN-China summit is the code of conduct in the West Philippine Sea that President Duterte had also mentioned in his previous statements. President Duterte, who has grown closer to China since he took office last year, has been reconciliatory to Beijing and has softened his stance on the issue. A draft statement, which will be submitted after the regional meeting, said Southeast Asian nations will not take a relative calm in the dispute over the South China Sea for granted. Almost all of the South China Sea, one of the world's busiest waterways, is claimed by China. Taiwan and 4 ASEAN nations, Malaysia, Vietnam, the Philippines, and Brunei, have competing claims. Ray Palayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Pasay City.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority formally requests the suspension or cancellation of the driver's license of actress Maria Isabel Lopez. Here's why from Rajel Adora.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority formally files a complaint against actress Maria Isabel Lopez before the Land Transportation Office or LTO. The complaint stemmed from the Lopez's removal of MMDA's divider cones so her vehicle could pass through the ASEAN lane. After breaching the ASEAN lane, other vehicles also followed suit. The beauty queen even posted a video of the said incident on her social media account. In a letter complaint of the MMDA, the agency considers Lopez's conduct as shameless, unlawful, and a breach of security protocol during an international event. The agency argues the actress's conduct proves her as undeserving to drive.
Kung may dadaan hong delegado doon, posible siyang mapagkamalang threat. So pwede ho siyang itaboy, pwede ho siyang masagi, pwede ho siyang alisin. At hindi lang ho sarili niya yung nilagay niya sa kapahamakan, pati rin ho yung nasa labas ng ASEAN lane.
The MMDA notes what the actress did was dangerous as the security detail of the foreign dignitaries might confuse her as threat to the delegates.
Delikado kasi yung ginagawa niya. May mga security na nakalatag tayo dyan. What if napagkamalan siyang terorista or whatever, nabanatan siya ngayon ng ating security.
Aside from breaching the action lane, the MMDA says Lopez was also using her phone while driving. The LTO will investigate the case of Lopez to determine if her license to drive should be suspended or cancelled.
Maximum identification. And yung mga ebidensya kasi itong video footage at saka photographs I think that is sufficient enough to prove the violation.
Meanwhile, the MMDA asked for the public's understanding on the traffic congestion happening on affected roads due to the ASEAN Summit.
May kapalit naman po itong sakripisyong ginagawa natin ngayon. Kaya we're asking na talagang pag-uunawa at sakripisyo. Kaya nga ho dineclare ito na holiday at walang pasok lahat ng mga klase, pati mga opisina. Dahil alam namin yung mangyayaring traffic.
Rogel Adora, UNTV News Rescue, Philippines.
Airline passengers prefer to wait for longer hours before their scheduled flights at the terminals of the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Here's why from Grace Kasi.
Filipino airline passengers are now used to going early to airport terminals to avoid inconvenience before their scheduled flights. One example is the Morita family who arrived at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA 8 hours before their scheduled departure to Japan. Aimee Morita said they don't want to miss their flight since rebooking their tickets will cost them more.
At least mas maigi na rin yung maaga nandito, naka-prefer lang kahit na waiting na lang kami.
Some of the passengers of NAIA we talked to said they prefer waiting at the airport terminal than to miss their flights because of the huge volume of vehicles on roads. They said that since their flights were scheduled simultaneous with the conduct of the ASEAN Summit, they decided to arrive at NAIA terminal 4 to 6 hours ahead of their scheduled flights.
Nasanay na ako kasi pangatlong alis ko na tayo. Maagang gumising para maagang makaalis para hindi matraffic.
Dapat maaga po tayong umalis sa bahay papunta sa airport. Traffic ka tuwing wala tayong bisita o mas more kung may bisita pa tayo.
Sayang din po yung biyahe. Di pag naiwan ka ng flight, maaga kang umalis tas na traffic ka pa. Di siyempre babalik ka na naman sa oras na yun na mag-intay. Maaga kami.
In a flight advisory of NAIA today, November 13, air travels from Manila to Legazpi or Flight 5J321 and Legazpi to Manila or Flight 5J322 were cancelled due to bad weather. The Cebu Pacific initially advised on its Twitter account the expected delays in its flight until November 15 because of the ongoing ASEAN Summit-related activities. Based on the Air Passenger Bill of Rights, airline companies should provide food to passengers who experience delays in their flights. They should also rebook free of additional charge the affected passengers' tickets or refund the amount they paid. Those with questions about the other provisions of the Air Passenger Bill of Rights may call the Civil Aeronautics Board's direct line 853-7249. Grace Casen, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Next on Y News. World leaders charm and disappoint Filipinos as the 31st ASEAN Summit begins. Militants appeal to U.S. President Donald Trump to not drag the Philippines into imminent U.S.-North Korean war. And the A Song of Praise Music Festival on TV holds a grand finals night at the Big Dome tonight. Y News will be right back.
ASEAN spirit soar above all frontiers and boundaries. ASEAN spirit soar to greater heights and victory.
The 31st Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN Summit formally begins today. And Filipinos just couldn't hide who among the world leaders is their favorite. Angela Lagunsad will tell us why.
As expected, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has once again demonstrated his charm as he returns to Manila. Upon his arrival at the Clark International Airport, Trudeau approached and shook hands with the Filipinos who warmly welcomed him.
The 31st Association of Southeast Asian Nations o ASEAN Summit has begun, and being known for our warm hospitality, Filipinos are obvious to show who they like the most among the world leaders.
President ng Canada is known talaga siya sa social media, especially sa Facebook. Yun talaga siya na gwapo, and then matalino. Kaya yung Canada ngayon mas productive, mas improved.
The famous Canadian Prime Minister was trending on social media after he visited a local fast food chain in Tondo, Manila. He even posed for selfies with the employees of the said fast food chain. Trudeau is the 23rd Prime Minister of Canada, where many Filipinos are currently residing. Meanwhile, if smiles and glee greeted Trudeau, series of protests welcomed United States President Donald Trump in Manila. Demonstrations and the burning of the effigy of Trump were among the activities held by militant groups today to protest what they claim as America's meddling in the Philippines. Alongside their opposition to the U.S. president was their call for the country's push for an independent foreign policy as previously promised by President Rodrigo Duterte.
Trump is no friend of the Filipino people. He brings war. He brings economic impositions. He wants to bring the U.S. war on terror in the Philippines. He wants to drag us in the conflict in North Korea. He wants to bring back U.S. bases in the Philippines. These are things that are not beneficial to the Filipino people.
It can be recalled Mr. Trump recently expressed support to the Duterte's administration's campaign against illegal drugs. Meanwhile, in a gala dinner last night, President Duterte sang with Asia's Queen of Songs, Miss Pelita Corrales. The Philippine president said he sang upon the orders of President Trump.
Ang mahalin ay ikaw. Ladies and gentlemen, I sang uninvited duet with Ms. Pelita Corrales upon the orders of the Commander-in-Chief of the United States. Canada.
Angela Lagunsal, UNTV News and Rescue, International Media Center, Pasay City.
Members of various militant groups gathered along Calao Street before marching to the United States or U.S. Embassy to hold their protests. Here's why from Aiko Miguel.
Leftist groups Bayan, Bagong Alyansang Makabayan, Kadamay, Gabriela Women Party List, ACT Teachers Party List, and groups of Muslims from Mindanao intensified their protest rally in Manila today. The groups began to hold their protests against U.S. President Donald Trump and President Rodrigo Duterte since November 9. They brought with them today a 13-foot-tall effigy of Trump they called Fascist Spinner. The effigy features the U.S. President with 4 rotating hands, with President Duterte on President Trump's side. However, before passing through Padre Faura Street along UN Avenue, the anti-riot police stopped them from going near the U.S. Embassy with water cannons. In a tense standoff, the militants attempted to resist, but they were unable to fight back against the police. Some anti-riot cops and militants were injured in the standoff. Despite this, the protesters continued their demonstration to oppose the visit in the country of President Trump.
Di umano, banta raw ang North Korea sa kapayapaan ng Asia, pero ang totoo, ang US, dahil ito ang may pinakamarami at pinakamalawak na presensya ng mga sundalo at base sa buong Asia. At ngayon nga, ang gusto niya ay maging kaaway ng iba't ibang bayan sa Southeast Asia at sa Asia at North Korea para maprotektahan ang interes ng US dito sa Asia.
Kasama kami sa protesta, lalong-lalo na ang dumating na si Trump ay marami ring mga pahayag katulad ni Duterte na kontra sa kababaihan. Buong yabang na sasabihin na naman ang kailangan niya ay ang likas na yaman ng Pilipinas at ng iba pang mahihirap na bayan.
A total of 10 anti-riot policemen and 6 militants were injured in the standoff. The injured were immediately brought to the nearest hospital and received treatment. National Capital Region Police Office Chief Oscar Albayalde, meanwhile, says they will file appropriate charges against militants involved in the standoff earlier. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
President Rodrigo Duterte and U.S. President Donald Trump attest that the Philippines and United States of America enjoy an enhanced relationship despite previous rifts. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
The first bilateral meeting of President Rodrigo Duterte and U.S. President Donald Trump lasted for almost 40 minutes on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit this afternoon. The two leaders confirmed a good relationship between the Philippines and the United States of America. Mr. Trump said he is a friend of the Duterte administration.
But we've had a great relationship. This has been very successful. We have many meetings today with many other leaders. Just, I think, on behalf of everybody, I want to thank you and I want to thank the Philippines. Thank you very much.
Malacanang says the issue on human rights was not discussed during the meeting of the two leaders. This despite reports that a human rights concern was mentioned a bit when the anti-drug war was discussed. But according to Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque, it was President Duterte himself who brought up the illegal drug menace in the country and that President Trump sympathized with him on the domestic problem.
Well, there was no mention of human rights. There was no mention of extralegal killings. There was only a rather lengthy discussion about the Philippine war on drugs with President Duterte doing most of the explaining.
Trade was also discussed on the bilateral meeting, and the Philippine government suggested a free trade agreement between the Philippines and U.S. The two leaders also confirmed their mutual feelings about U.S. former President Barack Obama.
The Philippine President reiterated that the Philippine-U.S. alliance has always been very strong and very important. And now I think President Trump addressed this by reassuring the Philippine President that he has always been an ally of the Philippine President since he was elected into office.
All right,
so I would say that there will be a marked difference between the relationship between the administration of President Trump and President Duterte.
The U.S. Chief Executive commended the Philippines' chairmanship of ASEAN and the way the Philippines welcomed the leaders of the ASEAN member states and dialogue partners. Mr. Trump said he enjoyed the presentations during gala dinner prepared for them. Rosalie Cos, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Militant groups accuse U.S. President Donald Trump of dragging the Philippines into the imminent U.S.-North Korean war. Monokson tells us why.
Militant groups have nothing but only one chant in this morning's protest rally. That is for the U.S. troops to leave and to ban U.S. President Donald Trump in the country. The group claims Trump has only one goal in his attendance in the APEC summit in Vietnam and the ASEAN summit here in the country, and that is to ensure for himself a guaranteed ally in the imminent U.S. and North Korea. The protesters demand not to drag the Philippines in it, as the country does not have a strong military force to defend itself.
Si Trump ay warmonger na racist. Dadali niya tayo sa giyera niya sa North Korea. Sa atin hindi tayo dapat papayag na magkaroon ng giyera dito sa region natin. So Trump is not only a threat to the rights of the American people, but also a threat to the stability and security of the region.
Colmenares adds that this should be fair in its deal with North Korea. Earlier today, the militant group presented a giant effigy in their protest rally. They claim that the effigy symbolizes America's moves of controlling many countries, including the Philippines. The group burned the effigy at past 12 in the afternoon, this time symbolizing the public clamor for America not to meddle with Philippine affairs. The protesters, however, failed to get near the PICC due to the strict security measures being implemented by the authorities in the area. Nevertheless, the group says their protest actions will continue until the Philippines cease to be a blind follower of the United States. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
A great opportunity awaits performers to showcase their talents in music while performing in their own languages. Robbie de Guzman will tell us why.
Semua orang tahu aku
9 bands from the 9 members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN and 6 others from the Philippines are chosen to perform in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN Music Summit. According to its organizers, the Music Summit will be held at the Ayala Triangle Garden at 7 in the evening tomorrow.
That night, we're really promising a lot of music, a lot of, this time, contemporary with tinges of traditional music, but primarily contemporary music from the ASEAN region.
We wanted to bring in those bands that create their own music and who have at least released their albums. So we can have a taste of what pop or rock contemporary music is in our ASEAN region.
ASEAN spirit soar to greater heights and victory.
Despite the differences in language, the performing bands will unite as Southeast Asians to help push for peace and progress in the said region. Robbie de Guzman, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
Meanwhile, the Philippine National Police or PNP Criminal Investigation and Detection Group Anti-Transnational Crime Unit arrested 2 individuals involved in illegal operations in the country. Joanne Nano will tell us why.
Authorities arrested 47-year-old Ana Macadangdang, a resident of Herona, Tarlac, the alleged leader of a massive illegal recruitment syndicate. This is after one of Macadangdang's alleged victims sought the help from the Philippine National Police or PNP Criminal Investigation and Detection Group Anti-Transnational Crime Unit. Based on the investigation of the PNP, the suspect illegally recruits applicants from various areas in Metro Manila, Tarlac, and Pampanga and promised them job opportunities in South Korea and Japan.
Base na rin sa complaint ng 10 mga biktima, mga aplikante na pinangakuan ng iba't ibang trabaho sa Jeju, Korea at Japan. Allegedly, ang mga trabaho nila ay farm workers at factory workers sa Japan. Yung schema kasi, direct hiring na sinasabi. Pag pumasok ang direct hiring, wala ng POA, wala ng requirement, lipad ka kagad.
Authorities arrested Macadangdang in an entrapment operation at the City of Dreams in Parañaque City last Friday during her orientation to 10 new applicants. The victims who refused to be identified say the suspect took almost 100,000 pesos from them.
Sabi niya, hihingi siya ng processing fee para sa akin, makapunta sa ibang bansa. So nagbigay ako ng unang bayad na 35,000. Pag after a month, humingi ulit siya sa akin ng process ng placement fee kasi okay na daw yung papel ko, nakapasok na daw. So hanggang sa sabi niya magtitiket na daw, hanggang sa lagi niyang re-rebook, humingi ulit siya last time ng 35,000 para sa ticket ko.
Macadangdang is now facing charges of large-scale estafa and illegal recruitment which are non-bailable offenses. Meanwhile, the police also arrested one of the suspects in a billion-peso investment scam. The suspect is identified as 26-year-old Rodrigo de la Cruz. He is the alleged leader of the Hyper Program International Direct Sales and Trading Corporation, which sells cosmetics and health and wellness products. The modus operandi of the group is to entice customers to invest in the company in exchange for a supposedly huge percentage they will eventually earn. However, in November of 2016, the company closed. De la Cruz and the other suspects brought with them the billions of pesos they took from the investors, which were mostly actors, politicians, and overseas Filipino workers. De la Cruz is now facing charges of estafa and syndicated estafa before the Quezon City Prosecutor's Office. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The families and relatives of the hostage victims in the Marawi crisis continue to seek help from the government for their missing loved ones. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
4 families in Barangay Tubod in Iligan City seek the help of the government to find their missing loved ones. It's been almost 6 months since the hostage-taking incident, but they have not received any information on their loved ones until now. They have disseminated pictures and lists of names, but no one has been communicating with them. That is why they took it upon themselves to seek the help of the media and ask the government to give them assistance, particularly financial aid.
May mga anak kami pakainin, maliit pa yun, 2. Sana matulungan mo kami sa presidente.
Although they are also resigned into thinking that their relatives could already be dead, they still do not lose hope on finding them.
Sana mananawagan kami ni Mayor Gandamra kung may na-rescue pang mga iba dyan na hindi namin alam, maparating sa amin. Umaasa pa rin. Pero parang malabo na yata. Tapos ng gira malabo na.
Baka napagmalan siya na mauti kasi dahil sa pangalan niya. Ahmad Abdullah kasi yung niya pangalan. Nung July 13, ma'am, tumaka sila. Yung isa sa kanila na-rescue. So dinala doon sa Cagayan, sa Patag. Hindi namin alam kung nasaan na siya.
Ginalyn Barcelon calls on her mother who left them and went to Manila.
Ma, kung asa magkaroon ma, hinautunta, muli ka diri. Huwag kang kabalog, asa si kuya ron. Magunaw na, untakag na kay anak diri. Ang bapa, namatay na. Itang muli na ka, at magpangitaon si kuya kung asa na siya ron.
Her brother, who took on the role of their parents in taking care of them, was one of the Maute hostages for the past 5 months. Meanwhile, the military yesterday recovered several firearms reportedly owned by the Maute group in Lanao Lake. The terrorist group reportedly discarded around 30 high-powered, long firearms into the lake. Victor Cosare, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull visited one of the buildings of the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, today. He said the said building was built with the help of the Australian government. Australia donated 3 million Australian dollars for the construction of the warehouse, which can house 42,400 food packs and can serve as a daily manual repacking site of 52,000 family food packs. Mr. Turnbull says Australia fully supports the Philippines. The Prime Minister notes proof of this is the 1.2 million Australian dollars the country will donate for the rehabilitation of the war-torn Marawi city.
We have given support to the Philippines Armed Forces, and we've been very pleased to do that to help the Philippines win the war.
A Song of Praise Music Festival has another reason to be thankful. Here's why from Joan Nano.
Goes to ASOB UNTV 37.
For the second time, UNTV's A Song of Praise or ASOP Music Festival is hailed as the best talent search program during the 31st Philippine Movie Press Club or PMPC Star Awards for Television in Quezon City on Sunday. The Praise Songwriting Competition is an original concept of brother Eli Soriano and Kuya Daniel Razon that aims to bring back songs of praises to God in the airwaves and in the daily lives of people.
Siyempre po, nagpapasalamat tayo ng marami sa Diyos sa mabuting pagkakataon na minsan pa ay sa panguna po ni kapatid na Eli at ni Kuya Daniel, nabuo po itong programa na ito na para magbigay po ng pagkakataon sa ating mga amateur at professional songwriter na makalikha ng mga papuring awit sa Diyos.
ASOP first won the award in 2015. The program's executive producer Bobby De Los Santos invites people from all walks of life to join the weekly contest.
Sa lahat ng mga aspiring composers, sa lahat ng mga amateur at mga professional na composers na nariyan, sana po ay patuloy tayong lumikha ng mga papuring awit sa Diyos. At salamat po sa Diyos sa 6 na taon na kanyang pag-iingat sa programa.
ASOP airs on Sundays at 7 o'clock in the evening. Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
2017 Reina Hispanoamericana Winwyn Marquez has returned from her win in Bolivia and vows to accomplish her duty with all her heart. Grace Casin will tell us why.
2017 Reina Hispanoamericana Winwyn Marquez was warmly welcomed by her supporters, fans, and families upon her arrival in the Philippines earlier. One of Winwyn's missions is to revive and reintroduce the Spanish culture to Filipinos.
That's our roots, that's our heritage, and I think
it's time na malaman ng mga tao yun kasi it's lost. I don't know how to speak Spanish, but I'm willing to learn.
Winwyn says it was not easy for her to win the crown.
The first few days, umiiyak ako kasi I was lost. I didn't understand anyone. I didn't have friends yet.
The Filipina beauty queen notes she used the criticisms against her to have more courage.
Lahat ng bashing, ginawa kong positive eh. Lahat ng sinabi sabi ko na lang, kaya kong gawin yan.
I answered it from the heart. I said the truth. And everything can be learned. But, you know, if may right attitude ka, you're positive, you're kind, God will always be there and God will always be beside you.
Now that she has the crown, Winwyn has this to say to the world.
First of all, thank you kay God. My faith is really high. He has a purpose. I lost the first time I joined. I worked hard and now, ngayon naintindihan ko na may purpose lahat. Thank you sa lahat ng Pinoy na naniwala sa akin. Thank you sa lahat ng sumuporta.
Winwyn is the first ever Filipina to join and win the 2017 Reina Hispanoamericana held in Santa Cruz, Bolivia. Grace Casen, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
Music lovers enjoy original praise of Filipino music tonight. Leslie Longbowen is at the Araneta Coliseum to tell us why live. Yes, Leslie, go ahead.
Yes, Darlene, the Araneta Coliseum is filled with God-loving music lovers to celebrate praise music tonight here at the Smart Araneta Coliseum for the A Song of Praise ASOP Year 6 Grand Finals. The finals is hosted by ASOP's regular hosts Richard Reynoso and Tony Rose Gaida. The program opened with a very energetic number from the ASOP Year 6 interpreters, after which we heard the live, heartwarming performances of original compositions, including Hallelujah to the One, Gabundok Man, Sapat na ba, If You Believe, Wala Kang Katulad, Sumasamba Sa'yo, You're All I Need, and Dahil Sa Iyo. We are still waiting for the other song performances. We also witnessed a People's Choice medley of ASOP's past 5 years, coming from Mariel Montellano, Jex De Castro, Team Pavino, Lea Patricio, and Jason D. Every after the song, composers share what inspired them to write their song entries. A little later, we will find out what will be ASOP's Song of the Year. The grand champion will receive a cash prize of 500,000 pesos. Darlene, apart from the song performances, we are also waiting for the message coming from BMPI's chairman and CEO, Kuya Daniel Razon, as well as from Members Church of God International's Brother Eli Soriano, who are the people behind the idea of the A Song of Praise songwriting competition. Darlene?
Thank you, Leslie Longbowen, reporting from the Araneta Coliseum.
Coming up on Y News. Disneyland in Anaheim County, California shuts down its 2 cooling towers following outbreak of Legionnaire's disease. More than 125 people killed after a powerful magnitude 7.3 earthquake rocks border between Iran and Iraq. And La Verdad Christian College's short film Lansangan becomes the Philippines' entry to the first Southeast Asia Video Festival. More from Y News after this break.
The GSIS Furies keeps its hopes alive to enter the second round eliminations of the UNTV Cup. Meanwhile, the BFP Firefighters proves to be the team to beat this season of the league. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
In the AFP-BFP battle, the Firefighters stains the Cavaliers' record to give the Soldiers their first defeat of the season. This after the Firemen dominated all 4 quarters in yesterday's third game that ended with 104-97 at the Pasig City Sports Center. BFP playing coach Gilbert Malabanan is relieved the team's extra effort in practices and in the game bore fruit.
Actually, pinagandaan namin yan. Sinabi ko sa mga players ko na hindi namin kakayanin yan kung magpa-practice lang kami. Kailangan namin mag-extra effort talaga. Nakita naman namin yung conditioning na ginawa namin sa kalaban, So nagbunga lahat ng paghihirap namin.
Meanwhile, AFP assistant coach Ronald Cahanding admits lack of defense was a culprit of their loss.
Kung makikita natin yung game, no, natapos yung game, high score. So ang nangyari talaga sa amin, na ang sama ng defense namin, nakita nyo naman ang taas ng score nila. So ang dami nilang binigay na fast break.
In the PIDEA DOJ action, the drug busters stunned the justice boosters 105-86 to mark its first win. PIDEA was able to limit DOJ's outside shooting and intensified its defense in the paint area.
Mga shooter lang, habulin nila. Di ba, maliit sila basta may challenge. Tapos yung mga big man, pigilin nila sa ilalim.
Ganun talaga, may nanalo, may natatalo eh. So, wala nang magawa doon. Nagkaroon ng break ang PIDEA during the second half. So, we need to accept that.
Robert Sanz and Brillos Rizon made combined 56 points and were hailed as the best players of the game.
Does not work from the outside from Marlon Calao. Fury is running, making the lead.
And in the GSIS DOH match, the GSIS Furies claims its second win after toppling the DOH Health Achievers 83-73. Forward James Patrick Abugan led the Furies with 22 points and 6 rebounds, thus hailed as the best player of the game. GSIS now has a 2-2 win-loss record, while DOH has 1-3. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Of the more than 140 short film entries from various parts of the country, La Verdad Christian College's short film entitled Lansangan is the Philippines' entry to the first Southeast Asia Video Festival. Nino Armilio will tell us why.
A film produced by the group of Aubrey Macapagal of La Verdad Christian College is one of the winning entries in the recently concluded Cinebata 2017. Their 2-minute film entitled Lansangan won the grand prize for the amateur category. The short film is about a child begging for alms in the streets.
Bakit tila asong nag-aabang ng pagkaing mahihimuran?
It depicts one's ability to help others despite experiencing scarcity. The La Verdad students say they got the concept of the film from the character of Miss Nora Honor in Kuya Daniel Razon's advocacy film, Isang Araw Ikatlong Yugto. The veteran actress is also a beggar in the advocacy film.
First of all po, nagpapasalamat kami sa Diyos sa opportunity po na binigay niya sa amin. Tsaka po kay Brother Eli na founding chairman po ng La Verdad Christian College and kay Dr. Daniel Razon na sila po yung nagbigay ng inspiration sa amin sa pinaka-concept po namin sa Cinebata.
Cinebata is a yearly filmmaking competition for the youth. It aims to encourage young aspiring filmmakers to produce stories that teach lessons.
Po yung gagamitin po namin sa shooting namin, nabigay na po namin sa kanila. Parang kami po mismo, na-apply po namin sa sarili namin yung values po na yun, which is sa atin nga as Filipinos, na kung ano, yung meron na lang tayo na binibigay pa po natin.
Aside from Lansangan, other entries entitled Kalsada, Tatay Nando, and Lakbay, all produced by students, also won in this year's Cinebata. The films that won in the Cinebata 2017 will be the Philippines' entries in the first ever Southeast Asia Pre-Janese Children's Video Festival, which will be held in the Philippines.
Ang mga bata, mailalayo natin sa boredom, mailalayo natin sa barkadahan, mailalayo natin sa drugs, no? Kasi meron silang ang kintalino na pwede nila gawin at pwede nila gawin future nila. Kung gusto nila maging producer, director, writer, they started young by using their iPhone to tell us something about what they would like us to listen to.
The Children's Video Festival will be held at the Philippine International Convention Center or PICC from the 27th to the 29th of November.
Bakit kaya ang mga salat ng lipunan ay sila ring nagpupuno sa kapwa niya mahirap sa bayan? Bakit kaya hindi ang mga naturingan?
Alam ko po sagot dyan, kasi mahirap maging mahirap.
Nina Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
Those are the reasons behind the news, November 13, 2017. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo.
And I'm Darlene Basingan, because we need to know.
We will always ask why. Thank you for watching
Why News.